Y'all are just gonna have to ignore the mess behind me. I ain't got time to clean that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Listen, something that you probably don't know about me is that I have this disease, right? Where I basically live in a perpetual state of being out of the loop. Now, a big part of this is because a lot of the communication that people try to have with me is through texting, and I just hate reading. I'm actually quite terrified of words. So I tend to miss a lot, especially when I'm in a big group chat and I put my phone away for like 10 minutes and then come back and there's 150 text messages. I do not have time to read everything.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So this poor quality of mine, not wanting to read, actually led me to making this video. You see, in addition to doing all the crosses that I make, and I make a lot of crosses, I'm also a filmmaker, which I know you can't really tell by looking at my beautiful video here. And I have a lot of friends who are filmmakers, specifically these guys. We're gonna call them AJ, Sean, and Kayla because that's their names. One day, I got a text message from AJ in our group chat that just said, the shots are due on the 30th. And I'm just there kind of going, what are you talking about? What shots? But of course, I couldn't say that because I didn't want them to know that I was totally unaware of what the heck they were talking about. So I did what anybody would do, and I just said, the 30th of what? To which he said, of this month. So now I know that I'm supposed to have shots that are due by the end of the month. Great. Then I asked the question, well, where are we turning in these shots? Where are we sending them? He said, I have to check SHOTDECK's website to see about that. So now I know, okay, I'm sending shots to something called SHOTDECK. So I start Googling and I find that there's this competition put on by SHOTDECK where basically you have to recreate an image from a movie, and then if you win, you get a whole bunch of stuff. So that's pretty cool. So I then said, okay, when are we going to talk further about this? And he said, we're talking about it on our podcast tonight. We have a podcast, by the way, Pink Llama Podcast. Okay, so now I know I'm going into this podcast knowing nothing other than I'm supposed to be entering into a competition and the entries are due by the end of this month. So if you actually watch that podcast and watch my face, I'm like, yes, of course. Inside, I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. Anyway, AJ proceeds to tell us about the details of this competition during our podcast. And he says, Jacob, I think that this would be the perfect image for you to create. This one right here. When I saw this, I got super excited because if you don't know, this is an image from my favorite movie, The Passion of the Christ. It should be no surprise that this is my favorite movie, by the way, based off of what I do on this channel. So now I started actually getting a little excited about this competition, but then it was the next day and the next day and the next day. Before I knew it, the shots were due the next day, meaning tomorrow, and I have not yet done this. So that is what I'm doing tonight. I am going to recreate this shot from the iconic film, The Passion of the Christ. And you guys are gonna either see me succeed or utterly fail. Either which way, it'll be good. So let's get to it. So when I saw this shot, I immediately started thinking, how can I recreate this? And I think I came up with a good idea. I'm gonna compose this using 3 different layers. The back layer will be the sky, the middle layer will be Jesus on the cross, and then the front layer will be the rocks and the teardrop, because you can see those things are both in focus. But how do I do this? That is what we have to figure out. I'm thinking if I can take a pane of glass and paint a teardrop on there or something, maybe I can get that and then put the rocks across the bottom. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure this out together. Now, luckily for me, I actually have a pane of glass that I found the other day on the side of the road. And when I saw it, I immediately thought that it could work for this. So we're gonna go to my garage and get it. It's a little bit scary. Who needs automatic doors? Here it is. I got it. All right. Oh. Ow. Okay. Back to the workshop. Ugh, I gotta clean this place up. Now, one thing I didn't realize about this when I picked it up is that it's actually tinted. So hopefully that won't be a problem. But I guess the first thing we have to do is clean this sucker up so it's as transparent as possible. Guess I need some Windex. Well, I gotta go look for that. Ain't got no Windex. That's not good. All right, I don't have any Windex, but I do have this all-purpose cleaner. And all-purpose means all-purpose to me. I also have this Norwex and water, so I'll be finishing with this because I know that will give me a clean pane of glass. Okay, all right. You guys tell me when it's nice and shiny and clean. All right. Turn it around. Hi. Let's throw that away. Time for the Norwex. This is gonna get all those streaks out of there, I think. All right, now that that's done, the next step is to, I guess, clear this table and set up a place for me to do everything else. So I'm gonna do that now. Oh no, I ran over that cross. Don't be looking at my hair. If you guys are ever interested in these are for sale on my site. This is the crucifix I'll be using for this. Now, I do make a replica of the Passion of the Christ crucifix, but it doesn't have the footrest, and maybe that's something I have to add later, I don't know. But I think this one will be the best suited for our needs. So I'm gonna use this. Now we have to figure out a way to make this stand up. It works. Cool. All right, now that I figured that out, I actually have to figure out how I'm gonna make the sky. Now, I'll confess, prior to starting this video, I already had the idea of how I was gonna do this, and I went ahead and grabbed this blanket. This is one of my wife's blankets, by the way, so I better not mess it up. The sky in the image is like a cloudy kind of color, so I figured this would work since it's out of focus. We're gonna find out. But I have to figure out a way to hang this up behind him. I guess I'm not a filmmaker because I don't have any gaff tape on me and I could really use some right now. Hold on for me just 1 second, please. Yes. Yes. Okay. No! Kind of looks like the sky. I don't know. All right, we're gonna see if this works. I think if I push it back some, maybe, it'll tighten it up some. The next order of business is to get these rocks made up. Now, how I'm gonna do that is actually take the image itself, and I'm just going to, well, I guess I'm just gonna print out the rocks. The question is, will I be able to get a sharp enough image from there? Let's see. Wow, there's a lot. Where's the one I'm looking for? Aha. Got him. All right, let's drop it in Photoshop. Let's see if we can't select these rocks real quick. These ones right in front of the crucifix are probably going to be the most important ones to have. Oh yeah. Looks good. Let's make a layer out of there. Boom, got my rocks. Nice, now I just got to print these. All right, there are my rocks. Now I just got to print them. I got my rocks. Now I just got to cut these out. Luckily for me, I have a beautiful little cutter here. Oh yeah, we did it. I don't know why I'm whispering. Next up is going to be trying to figure out how to set up the shot all together. And I haven't even gotten to the part about using the, doing the teardrop. That's going to be pain. Pane of glass needs to be here. Oh my gosh. I think that's our best bet because it has to kind of look up in to it. Gotta get my trusty camera set up. Now we gotta start referencing our photo here, so to match this. So we definitely have to rotate the crucifix here a little bit.
Hours later.
All right, I'm in a pretty good place right now. I've been working hard to get everything together, but I need some clouds, so I got my airbrush out, blowing it on this board. As you can see, I've kind of ditched the blanket idea, and that's okay. I find that the board is doing a lot better for me. Okay, so unfortunately my camera stopped filming and I didn't notice it, but luckily the camera that I was capturing the image with was recording. So let me explain to you what I'm doing here. I am using UV resin to create this teardrop or water drop on the glass itself. You can see I've actually added the rock underneath there. That's just taped on with a thin strip of tape. And then what I found was actually holding the crucifix by hand in its place was the best thing. Instead of trying to have it propped up or wedged into something, actually holding it by hand was what ended up working really well. All right, so like I said, my camera actually stopped recording. I ran out of space on my card and I did not realize that. I was very into the project that I was working on. So unfortunately, I did not get the last little bit of this project. But let me tell you, when it clicked and all came together, it was perfect. So I'm about to show you the final image and then I'll show you a side by side. But before that, I want to show you something else. I was picking up last night after I felt like I had successfully gotten the project done, and I was thinking to myself, maybe I should leave this up in case I need to get a shot tomorrow or in case I realize something's not right. But I was just like totally done. So I thought to myself, it is what it is, and I was just gonna go forward with it. But as I was moving that pane of glass, I was going to slide it behind something over here, and look, it shattered. It shattered all over the place. You see that? That is that pane of glass that we used. So yeah, that really freaked me out. And I was holding it when it happened. It just like disintegrated in my hands. I don't even know what happened, but luckily I did not sustain any injuries or anything like that. But I'm gonna have to pick that up now, which is just a real bummer. But all in all, this was a super fun project. I'm super glad that I did it, and I'm really, really pleased with how the end product came out. Even though it's not exactly perfect, I think we captured the essence of the image itself pretty well, and I'm super stoked for that. So without further ado, here is the final image. All right, so that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know below how you would have done this project if you would have done it differently from the way that I did it. I would love to hear your ideas. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. It really helps me out, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.